Well, there's new movement today on the foreclosure mess. Wisconsin Congresswoman Tammy Baldwin is introducing a congressional resolution calling on the Obama administration and state attorneys general to investigate the banks, which is different than settling with the banks, I might add, to investigate the banks over their so-called robo-signing scandal. State attorneys general and the Obama administration have been negotiating with the banks over a settlement. Bear in mind, there never has been an investigation, which has always been peculiar. Anyway, a settlement of claims arising from allegations of improper filing of court documents and foreclosures. Some state attorneys general, like Delaware's Beau Biden, New York's Eric Schneiderman, and others, are resisting a push for a settlement as they have the peculiar desire to investigate banking practices prior to settling with the banks, which some people think is unusual. With us, one of the toughest law enforcement officials in the country, Nevada Attorney General Catherine Cortez Masto, who is actually suing Bank of America for a whole range of violations. She has also backed a tough new law in Nevada making robo-signing a felony crime. And Catherine, where do you go next, and how do you interpret the increasing momentum, I think, that really is advocating your point of view, which is this is a crime, the crimes have been committed, or at least crimes need to be investigated, and people like you need to be supported?
Well, and Dylan, you just said it. Thanks for having me on your show. The investigation is going to dictate where we go next. We have not stopped our investigations. We're going to continue in all aspects of the fraud that's impacting Nevada. And the investigation will tell us where and what area we're going. As you know, and you just said, robo-signing is an issue that we have here in Nevada. We are investigating both on the civil and criminal side. And you just talked about the fact that we were successful last legislative session in passing legislation to address the robo-signing that we were seeing.
So educate us a little bit. The law on robo-signing in Nevada went into effect on October 1st. Now, if you are found guilty of robo-signing, you face up to 10 years in jail per offense. As a felony, up to $10,000 per offense. Have you seen a change in the number of foreclosures in Nevada, which might indicate, obviously, whether robo-signing has continued, does continue in Nevada?
Well, and that's a great question. And yes, we have. Actually, as soon as it became effective in October, the notice of defaults have stopped. I think a lot of the third parties, the people involved in processing these documents, are trying to figure out what the new law means and what are they required to do. They're working with our office, and we're dictating to them, really, what you need to do is just follow the law. Make sure you have personal knowledge of all the documents that you are filing on behalf of the servicer to foreclose on those documents. Now, you're right, there are both criminal and civil implications involved if you do not follow the law. That's all we're asking, is to make sure you just follow the law and file the appropriate documents that are required.
But at the same time, if you've seen a significant fall-off in foreclosure activity after the law went into effect, does it not suggest, and it's speculative on my part, that there was still robo-signing, at least as a potential optionality for the financial institutions before the law went into effect?
Correct. I'd say it's a combination. There's no doubt there's a robo-signing occurring because that's what we're investigating, that's what we're uncovering. But I think there's some legitimate folks out there, third-party servicers who are out there that are trying to make sure they are following the law, they understand the new implications, and they are just really working to, right now, one of the things we're requiring them is to put together an affidavit that they have personal knowledge of the documents that they are utilizing to foreclose on these homes. And so they want to make sure they're utilizing the correct affidavit terms, and we're working with them. So there's some legitimate players out there who just want to understand the new law. But you're right. I think there are many out there who were violating the law, and now they're trying to figure out what to do. Which then, from a journalistic standpoint, I find perplexing to see that there is a so-called 50-state settlement talk to settle something that not only hasn't been investigated, but in the case of robo-signing, in the state of Nevada, may well have been still occurring up until October 1st, and we don't know whether it's occurring in Florida or Southern California or in Michigan and some of the other sort of hotbeds of foreclosure. You're right. There's talk. The multi-state is involved with the robo-signing and servicing issue. Don't forget, and that's an important component of this. But from my perspective, as you know, Nevada has been so hard hit. I mean, it is incredible the number of foreclosures we're seeing out here. And so my concern is not just making sure that they're following the law when they're foreclosed so that the homeowner's rights are being followed when they lose their home, but at the same time, keep in mind, there's a cloud on title. If they are foreclosing on these properties without the proper documentation, now there's a cloud on that chain of title, and that is not good for our state or the economy in general.
And to that end, Attorney General Beau Biden from Delaware has gone directly at the chain of title issue that is in the so-called MERS system. I want to play, if I could, a soundbite of him on the show. I guess it was last week.
So what we're trying to do in Delaware, and this is a very Delaware-specific thing, although I predict to you that other states will follow suit because they have similar statutes, is trying to hold those responsible accountable. In this man-made disaster, as you have covered better than anyone else, Dylan, no man has been held responsible.
I pulled the part of the soundbite where he told me that I did a good job just as a self-esteem boost for the day. But your thoughts on MERS and his actions?
I agree with Beau. I applaud what he is doing. I think there are various AGs. We're trying to figure out in our state where our laws can take us to hold those individuals accountable. Some of us are attacking in different areas. That doesn't necessarily mean we won't all get to the same litigation, but our investigation is going to dictate where we go. But I applaud Beau. I think he's doing a fantastic job, and I agree with him. That's what we do as AGs. We hold individuals accountable. We look for the restitution, ensure that any damages that any of our constituents have incurred because of some sort of fraud, that we're holding people accountable, but we're bringing restitution to them. And that's what I've always done.
And we are grateful to you, as we are to the others who have the privilege and recognize the privilege of the position that each of you hold in each state in this country as really the administrator, one of the key administrators of justice, not politics. And I think all of us are grateful to you for your pursuit of that position in that regard. So thank you.
Thank you, Dylan, and thank you for all of your work covering this issue.
Thank you. I'm going to play a soundbite of you saying that later when you're not here on a day that I'm not feeling that good. Catherine Cortez Masto, Attorney General.